Hi, welcome to Star Power Alchemy YouTube. My name is Alejandra Sofia, bringing to you the astrological news from the macrocosm to the microcosm of you. And I'm tuning in to the full moon in Sagittarius on June 17th, 2019. It occurs at 1:31 a.m. Pacific time. So we're inside of a Gemini new moon that's seeded on June 3rd. And then the full moons are culminations of what was seeded in the beginning of the cycle. So full moons are always oppositions. New moons are always conjunctions. So in the full moon chart is the new moon. And that's basically what I've done is it's a synastry of the full moon inside the new moon chart. The new moon in Gemini is a powerful new moon in opening up the gates of possibility because Gemini is multifaceted and it is in a field of, it's in a scintillating field. The inside of Gemini is in a scintillating field of all future possibilities, multiple futures and actional doorways to go through. So one of the images that really works for me for the sign of Gemini is a multifaceted jewel. So it's an air sign, it's a mutable air sign, and there's a lot of perspectives in a multifaceted jewel. And then the clarity that the true Gemini, when it's not muddled and confused and entangled in emotionally entangled with itself, because we have to remember we live in a holistic system. So Gemini is interwoven into its more emotional counterparts or threads or aspects of Gemini. And Gemini really does hold is able to, the evolved Gemini, the evolution of Gemini is being able to hold all these pieces and aspects of oneself. So this new moon is really calling on us, especially with, there's some, in terms of other planets, key things that are happening in the Gemini chart. And I'm going into the full moon, but I really want to kind of seed even more this new moon and to really open up this full moon Sagittarius that we're in, and that's coming in on June 17th. So there's Mercury makes it a very key. Mercury's key in this new moon because it's in its own sign of Gemini, and it's making an aspect to an asteroid, Vesta. Vesta, she is a goddess who presides over her craft. She has a deep internal body wisdom. Weavings into basically, when you find something that's yours and you want to focus on it with the utmost of your beingness, it's in the sign of Aries, Vesta, and it's making an exact aspect sextile, which is a well-working aspect. It's a really great aspect for productivity, depending on what you want to progress. And it's making an exact aspect to Mercury in Gemini. So there's a real actional because of the sign Gemini and the energy of Aries, of Vesta sextiling Mercury. There's a really key aspect in the field of this new moon wave spell cycle from June 3rd until the next new moon in July. So, which is what this whole full moon, what the full moon is really opening up and illuminating through the middle of June. And this key aspect is finding something that's yours and giving yourself to that. And Gemini and with Aries there, Aries is there in two important ways. Chiron is opening the door. Chiron, unlocking your energy body. In the sign of Aries, is unlocking the door to your energy body if you're willing to claim these places and spaces inside of yourself. And that's what Gemini's doing. Gemini's saying, yeah, you've been seeing yourself through that identity, but you've got more to your identity. There's more to identify with. There's so much more to identify with. And what happens when you open up the doors of possibility that live inside of your own heart, that live inside of your own energy body? What happens? What are the dreams you're dreaming? Neptune in Pisces. the sun and moon. The new moon is making a square to Neptune in Pisces, and Jupiter's involved in there as well, Jupiter in Sagittarius. So there's a very other key aspect to opening up the doors of possibility. Jupiter in Sagittarius making an opposition to the sun and moon conjunction in Gemini. And it's this rich field of like, yeah, you can do it. You can imagine what was once impossible to you. What's impossible is what's in the way of your own mind. And that's what Gemini is just like, I'm done. I'm done with these old identities of where I'm identifying with fear. But because we have a strong field pulsing with this new energy of possibility, because of the Aries and life stream being lit up by Chiron, unlocking the door of your energy body, Vesta, who wants to focus and give yourself to craft, but not just one craft, many crafts. And that's what Gemini really wants to open up, is that, yeah, you're finding your rhythm, you're finding the things that you love to do, and also feeding your energy body. This also keys on exercise and fitness. Absolutely, that cannot be left out. Exercise and fitness, that is one of the keys that Chiron and Aries is unlocking. You need your muscles, you need to put your mind to your muscles, to your willpower, to your creativity. Jupiter and Sagittarius, opening up more doors of possibility. It's just, there's a lot of support for you accessing, for each of us to access deeper our willpower, our channels, open up these doors of perception. Gemini, again, being, and then Mercury being in its own sign. So, and one more thing too, there's a really rich field of Cancer with Mars in Cancer and in the North Node and an asteroid. And then this whole, just shortly after the new moon, Mercury moved into the sign of Cancer. So we actually have a very rich field of this Cancer, the Cancer life stream, the Cancer sign journey, this emotional journey, and the mechanism of our emotions really opening up on a deep personal level, because we have now two personal planets, subjective planets, Mercury and Mars, masculine, sort of masculine. Well, actually Mercury's androgynous. Mars has Mars has the masculine, outgoing, drive, driven, passion, goal-oriented. But the key thing to Mars is that it's about overcoming one's obstacles. And so because we have this rich field of Cancer right now, and Mercury and Mars for this full moon chart have passed over the North Node. And so the dates of the 10th and 11th of June, as well as the 17th through the 19th, really poignant aspects of emotional awakening that allows you to access your energy body, because of the North Node getting pummeled literally by Mars and then Mercury coming right after. First it's Mars and then it's Mercury a few days later that comes in, and it's just like it's this emotional charged arena. But it's a route, because Cancer is one of the signs that's key to arriving to your presence. And how you arrive to your presence is through accessing immediately, in the moment, present, here and now time frame, your emotions and what is bringing you alive. And the strongest modality in the new moon chart and also in the full moon chart is the cardinal signs. And the cardinal signs are Aries, Libra. I pronounce Libra for all my newcomers. Thank you for watching. Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. And those are the strongest, that's the strongest modality. Modality is the cardinal, fixed, or mutable. And so there's 3 modalities. We have 12 signs. So there's always 4 signs in a modality. Again, Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn are the cardinal modality. And cardinal is an initiating energy. It's a starting energy. And each sign is a different element, and the elements have their own complexity to them in terms of the signs. But so the elements air, water, earth, and fire. Sorry, just my mind's going several directions at once. So there we go. Fire, earth, air, and water, and so So with this very charged field inside the Gemini new moon, with the full moon also charging the field, because the future is always getting charged by the present. We're not in these separate moments. We're threading the past, we're threading the future. And so what wants to come through for those of us who are willing we are under construction internally. Saturn in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn retrograde. If you're up for that internal mentorship within yourself, that is the time we are in, with Saturn in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn retrograde until September, mid-September, early October. This is a key time this whole summer. There's some internal mentorship happening, whether or not you're even like working with people on the outside to help you move to new levels. So this is about moving into a new level of yourself, very much so. And so this cardinal energy really wants to bring you, it wants to streamline your energy body into present time through arriving to the elemental here and now of you accessing your willpower, accessing your emotional challenge. So emotionally maturing. This is that's really all this long-winded, maybe too many words to get to an emotional maturation. With Mars and Mercury, a real arriving to yourself that's possible here. There's other things also absolutely possible. We live in a very dynamic field. There's 7 billion people on the planet, and this is a general framework for what's happening in terms of the transit. So yeah, absolutely. What wants to awaken is rightful relationship. That's really what wants to wait. We need to get out of these entanglement programs. There's just massive entanglement programs. So it's up to each and every one of us who is willing to step out of the herd, to step out of being a follower and really step into one's leadership, because the cardinal signs are also another a way of key word for them is leadership. These are the signs that step us into leadership. And so we have to be in our own emotional presence and willing to be in constructive presence as well, right? Emotional constructive presence. There's that Cancer Capricorn opposition. And then to be an authentic, to be in these dynamic relationships where you're stepping up to the plate, you're stepping into this meeting ground, Aries and Libra, you're stepping into this full-on negotiation ground with speaking your truth, hearing other people's truth. And then I'm sure everyone's experienced it here, where you have a truth and you're in a relationship and you're expressing it to somebody, and then there's just a way that they receive it and they communicate something to you, and you listen to it, you receive what they have to say, and it changes your truth. You're just like, oh, okay, so there is a way that truth is negotiable, but it's accessing yourself each and every moment. And that's what Cancer wants to do. Is Cancer is inward. Cancer is like your emotional ground of like, okay, where am I now? Where am I now? So that's what Cancer's doing. And with this North Node, because we have the North Node in Cancer for about a year and a half, the North Node always moves through a sign for a year and a half. And in this chart, in the new moon chart, the North Node's at 18 degrees Cancer. So it's heading towards the middle of this sign journey. We need to emotionally mature. It's time to emotionally mature. It's time to get out of these entangled relationships for those of us who are willing. And there are people that are more willing than other people to emotionally mature themselves. And it really is who this benefits more than anybody else in your life? You. It benefits you. And it benefits everything in your life when you emotionally arrive to yourself. And also because in that emotional maturity, it's just like, you know what, that's that person's stuff. I can step out of the entanglement. I don't have to participate. It doesn't matter how long I've been in relationship with that person or your tribe. I mean, there's a lot of different ways of coming to this. It could be you in your family life. You could be facing it one-on-one with somebody. It could be the general public, your relationship with the world, and me versus the world. So it's that kind of relationship that wants to get resolved inwardly. And so it is arriving to your own integral self. And that's what Chiron in Aries is doing, is really like, honey, you're the key. You're the key. And what's the key is you arriving to your heart, unlocking the doors of your heart, of your energy, of who you are, and another keyword, individuality. We need our individuality, embracing fully our uniqueness, and that allows us to step out of and move beyond socially conditioned patterns, social emotional conditioned patterns of being that aren't really who you are. And so that's where I see this, with this rich field here, June 2019, of there's actually some really strong aspects of, from especially the week of the 17th. I'm looking at my little calendar here. So these next 2 weeks between now, I'm tuning in from June 6th until the full moon, and then a little bit after, but we're in a rich field of things, of opening up communication inside of yourself, communicating things that you haven't communicated that need to get communicated. Maybe you're hearing, maybe you're just things that are just getting cleared. It's just time for clearing. It's time for endings. Saturn, Capricorn, retrograde, Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn especially, that Saturn, we are in the year of, remember, 2019 is the year that Saturn and Capricorn are coming into a conjunction that started December 22nd, 2018, through the doorway of the winter solstice, which was December 21st. So coincidentally, synchronistically, magically, Saturn came into a 10-degree orb on approach to Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto's been in the sign of Capricorn since about 2008, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Pluto and Capricorn. So now Saturn went into the sign of Capricorn in December 2017, and now it's on the approach December 22nd, 2018, comes into a 10-degree orb of Pluto. So that officially forms a conjunction. They conjunct exact on January 12th, 2020. So we are in this really heightened field in every way, personally, relationally, collectively, communally, globally. We are up against an edge. And I don't know if you've been hearing this, but I've heard this many, many times this year, 2019, of it, in terms of a global level, we are running out of time. We need to change our values. We need to change industry. We need to move towards ecology, and we need to move towards changing how we're doing things, especially first world nations, how we're taking care of the earth, which is largely not, right? And how this modern world has been built. Industry needs to change. Saturn, Capricorn, Pluto, Capricorn. So we are under apprenticeship right now, internal mentorship. If you're willing to listen to your inner accords with yourself, that is what Saturn in Capricorn wants to align you with, your inner perceptual being, because we are these multi-dimensional beings, channels, vessels that thread into the cosmic, it's like we live on Middle Earth, and then there's Lower Earth, and then there's the higher realm, the lower realms, the higher realms, in terms of looking at life that way. That we are under mentorship to claim our earth magic and claim our right to live in right livelihood, to live in right relationship, to live in right relationship with yourself, with your soul precincts, and to synchronize yourself with your creative powers, to build skills, your brain power, to train yourself and believe in yourself. And so clearing out these old disempowerment programs is the number one initiative to initiate Earth into its next level. And so we need people who are willing to, and I call this the New Earth Warrior Apprenticeship. It's to rise up and claim who you are fully, to claim this playground that we are children, each one of us, no matter what age we're at, we are a child of this universe. And there is a spirit within us that is innately playfulness and creative, and to clear out these obstacles of giving up our power that have come through the emotional, tribal, early childhood conditioning that have been passed on through karmas, ancestral, collective, and personal karmas. And it's our own personal work. So there we are again, we're back in the personal with Cancer. It's your own personal work where it's like, you know what? I'm going to end the blame programs. I'm going to end the superiority, inferiority programs. I'm going to step out of the cycles of disempowerment, and I'm going to step into leadership program. That is what it is. And so it's really claiming your domain that allows you to participate in ways that you want to participate in with evolution and with creativity and with your life, because that's the most important thing, is you're alive and we are living, and this is a playground. And the program, the old programs need to end. So that's with this year year and in this month of Gemini, and this full moon that's coming in, all that for me to get to the full moon, right? I'm pretty much speaking to all that without saying full moon and Sagittarius and opposition between, but now I'm going to do that. So the full moon in Sagittarius is an opposition. Full moons are always oppositions between the sun and the moon. And the degree of this full moon, 26 Gemini, I always round up because it's 25 and some minutes, and I round up to that next degree, which gives it the degree frequency. The degree frequency is there's 360 degrees in the zodiac, divided by 12 signs, 12 sign journeys, 12 life streams, and then there's 30-degree frequencies. So the frequencies flow through each sign. So the frequency of 1 flows through 12 in 12 different ways. But there is an energy essence, like an energy signature, 30 energy signatures. 30 energy signatures that flow through the energy of that sign. So the sun in Gemini is shining its light upon the full moon in Sagittarius, receiving the sun's light and sharing it, opening. So it's a really, really full moon. This with the Gemini Sagittarius polarity has its own uniqueness where it's mutable. So it's mutable air, Gemini, and mutable fire, Sagittarius. And it's a real opening up to your energy body, to your creative aliveness, creative powerhouse of aliveness. That's the key words for the 26 degree frequency that this full moon is pouring through. So it's really, it's about opening up to who you are. It's about, choosing the activities that you love to do. And I do feel absolutely we have to, because we're human beings living, it's using our energy, applying, exercising, opening up, choosing new activities that allow you to access other parts of your brain, because it is about coming into brain coherence. That's one of the things that Gemini wants to come into. It's like, I'm many things, and I want to, if you've been spending too much time in the intellect, it's time to balance it out with art and accessing your emotions. And so that's really, there's a lot of new insight in neuroscience, understanding about the subconscious and how the subconscious works, accessing how crucial it is to access your emotions and step out of relationships that aren't supporting you to grow. So if you have those kinds of relationships that aren't supporting you, it's really time to tune in and go I've got to end that. So I've got to unentangle myself through powering up inside of myself and be willing to change. And yeah, the unknown is scary. And guess what else the unknown is? Exciting. That's another view. That's a different viewpoint you can take. You know what? I'm gonna stop viewing the future as scary, or this possible. If I do this, this is so scary. What about exciting? Isn't there an excitement? Yeah, tap into the excitement. Tune into the excitement. Focus on the excitement, because where your focus goes, energy flows, right? And so that's part of learning how to move through your mind, learning how to move through your brain. Oh my God, there I am again, being negative. Switch it and focus on the positive. So that's why gratitude practices, compassion practices, radical forgiveness practices, those are 3 emotions that when you focus on them, bring coherence to your brain. So that's why meditation practices, call them visualization practices, whatever you want to call them, make it more playful, so it doesn't have to be this I'm meditating now, I'm doing this now, whatever that is. That could be just my thing, it's you're creating a space for I'm being spacious. I'm just gonna stop doing those things that I do all the time so that I can go inside and open up open up my vessel, open up my receptivity, open up my channel, because, oh my gosh, I'm totally understanding that I am energy and spirit is moving through me multidimensionally. Oh my gosh, I'm getting it, that I have an opportunity here. Oh my gosh, I'm coming alive. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling these things that I haven't felt before, and these things that I used to take for granted, now I'm really feeling them. And doesn't it feel good to cry tears of relief? Yes, because you're feeling what's happening on the planet. You're feeling the world. So there's another thing, key thing with this full moon is we're feeling the world. We need to step out. We need to move beyond these decrepit emotional patterns that have culturally been bred into us. And it is a legacy right now of this, USA, modern world, how industry has taken over the earth, manifest destiny, all these ideas, capitalism, materialism that have been leading. And along with those kinds of attitudes, platitudes leading have been negative emotions of disregard for each other and lack of respect and irreverence for life. Like, that's what needs to end. And I know we're going to see a lot of these emotional shifts in how we treat each other and how we treat the earth. And there needs to be a lot of healing around that as well, because we need to clear the rifts. And it's in our emotional body. And so that's what I see that's happening with this full moon. There's a real opening up to the earth and the world. Like, yeah, we're stepping out of these isolation patterns, many of us, stepping out of these isolation patterns, emotional isolation patterns that create mental isolation patterns, and healing that allow us to inwardly support ourselves and connect into the global village. Jupiter and Sagittarius. The full moon is conjunct Jupiter and Sagittarius. We also have Ceres and Sagittarius as well. Ceres, the Earth Mother. Ceres, who is she's the mother. She's a connection to tribe and these circles, the places we belong to. So here's an example of how we all uniquely fit into different circles. So you fit into the circle of yourself. I fit into my body. That's one circle of belonging you have. Then you have your family friend, your family, your home family situation. Maybe you live with just cats, right? Let's say you just live alone, whatever. Let's say you live with kids, you have a husband, whatever your living situation is, that's your circle of people. Maybe you're living in a van. Maybe you're circling up with other vans, or you join a circle of people who are living in vans, and you love to play the guitar. So you join a circle, whether you play guitar alone or with others, you're in a circle of people that play guitar all over the planet. And so you can just keep going on and on and on and on. You can take it down to your being American. You live in a circle of people who are American. That is a very large circle of people. You live in Wichita, Kansas, and that's a circle of people that live. So I'm just going on and on and on and on with that, because I want to get that across, that one of the things the circles we're claiming is the big circle of like the human circle. We are all living, and that's one circle. So it's all these hoops within hoops within hoops that we live in. And as you're finding your tribe, one of the tribes that really wants to be reclaimed is the tribe called Earth. A tribe called Earth, a tribe called, so I'm American. Most of the people who are listening to me are probably American. So really kind of participating more. The purpose of all this is to participate actively, because we're in this actional field of GEMiNi. We've got Aries and this full moon conjunct Jupiter. It's the global village, stepping into the global village, participating with the global village. Venus is in GEMiNi now, and we'll be moving into GEMiNi for the full moon chart. So it's really about like, whoa, wow, there's a way of being here where I can fully be here, and because I'm fully here, or I'm getting it, whatever it is, whatever stage you're at with yourself, like I'm getting it now that the more fully I get here, the more I can open up my arms to receive other people and really open up this wide, diverse universe situation happening here on Earth, just looking in all these directions of like, whoa, this is the earth. I mean, that's the feeling of being creatively, wakefully, emotionally, energetically alive. that wants to happen with this full moon. Are you feeling it? Are you feeling me feeling it? Because I'm sure feeling it. So that is where I feel this degree of this 26-degree frequency of creative aliveness, a super powerhouse energy body of creative aliveness pouring through very creatively alive signs. You know, it's, you know, through the sign of Gemini, through the sign of Sagittarius. So it's this really kind of ultra creative aliveness. And so feeling these new directions that you want to move in, and absolutely grounding in, creating a container, Saturn and Capricorn. We are under apprenticeship right now for claiming your domain, claiming who you are, claiming your individuality. So you're absolutely closing doors that need to get closed. That is just the victim mentality, stepping into positive attitudes, uplifting attitudes. And that's part of this new, absolutely the energy of this full moon is like stepping into the fullness of who you are. The sun is opposing the full moon sun of 26 Gemini is opposing the Jupiter moon conjunction. And we have Ceres there as well. So it's really opening up fully to yourself and to this life and who you are, and that you are significant. Absolutely. No matter what you do, that you are significant. The choices you make count, and to also lighten up, because the Sagittarius energy really wants to lighten things up and say, I want to have more fun. I want to have joy and vitality. And what is it in me that I need to let go of so that I can enjoy my life? Because I really want to be of the utmost benefit to myself and to this earth. And because we all have that. That is the human blueprint. We belong to the earth. We're born to the earth. A new viewpoint I've had through the source material that I read, which is Star Genesis Wisdom, the astrological lineage that I belong to, one of my circles, is that I have a new perception of reality of, right, we're born from, as we're in the cosmic realm, the realm between life and death. And so there's one womb. The womb, the cosmic womb. But my soul made a commitment to come into this experience, into this earth system, this eternity system. And then I'm born, and then I'm however it works, that it's time for me to be born, and the parents are conceiving, and however that works, I'm not clear on that yet. But then going through the umbilical cord, there's the metaphysical umbilical cord that gets us into the conception point that begins to birth our bodies. So then we spend, usually 9 months, and we're inside of the physical womb now, the mother body, and then we're born to the earth, and that's the earth womb. We're born to the earth womb, like we're actually in a womb, if you want to look at it that way. I like that because it helps to connect everything. Like, right, we're always in a tribal situation, and that's one of the reasons why we're in trauma and in a lot of drama, because we're in a state of forgetfulness. We've forgotten that we're in a womb. We're actually still in a womb, and we're all connected, and there's just a lot of fear and anxiety and there's just a lot of really interesting things going down on the planet and power struggles. So the most important thing is you getting into such deep contact with yourself and who you are and your own innate beingness that gives you this very special, intimate connection to yourself that allows you to inwardly sustain yourself with self-worth, with just innate universe, earth-given, just it's in your body, it's in your DNA, it's deep in your emotional treasure box, self-worth. You just feel the inner, and that self-worth feels like connection. It's not even in the language. It's not in the intellectual language. It's innate beingness that just, I think everyone and most of us hopefully has felt that, where we just feel that like, when it feels good, it feels, you hardly have words for it. And when you try to put words to it, it actually kind of changes it. It just feels good. It's that connection feeling. And we get it through our body, through our sensuality. So there's different things we can do to biohack our physiology to really feel connected. So I've said a lot, and I hope everyone has gotten, who's listened this far to 35 minutes of this video. Thank you so much for listening. Wishing everyone a blessed full moon and full recovery of yourself and self-discovery. And please subscribe to my channel. Please check out any of the videos that I have posted down below, including any new moon, the new moons. And as well, I have a few videos on Chiron and Aries. If you're interested in reading, please email me at starpoweralchemy@gmail.com. My my website is under construction, and sending everyone much love. Thank you so much for watching.